The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'm sorry we're a little bit late. We just had a couple technical issues. So I'm just seeing our population start flooding, and I am going to hand over my controls here, and I'm going to introduce myself, and we will get started. My name is Julie, and I work for AMS, for Automated Marketing Solutions. I am going to be your moderator for today's call. And what we usually do, just when we get started, is we do a little bit of housekeeping. So if people can, if you see the little chat box over on the right side of your screen, if you guys can let me know if you can hear me and if you can see my screen, that would be wonderful. And we can get started there after that. Perfect. Thank you, everybody. All right. So just to go over a couple things, we are, again, as I said, if you're not familiar with us, we are Automated Marketing Solutions. We are Craig Proctor's hotline provider. You would have heard about us at the San Francisco conference, and we wanted to do a call today to introduce ourselves and let you guys know what we're all about and how we can help you make money using hotlines. We're going to do a live demo, and we're going to do a bunch of cool stuff. So with that, I'm going to see if our co-hosts are here. And do I have Mike? Do I have you here?
I do. I am here, yes. Julie, how are you today?
Perfect. I'm good, thanks. And you?
I'm doing wonderful, thank you. We got Rick Brash here as well.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Rick, would you go for a nap or did you fall asleep?
Yeah, I fell asleep, Mike. That's it.
All right. Well, welcome everyone to the call. You guys have any questions? Just type them into the right side of the chat area. What we're gonna do is what we usually do is do a post-conference call, Rick and I, and to answer any questions. And what we do is we take the top 5 questions and we just quickly go through those questions and take you through how to make money with hotlines, as Julie mentioned. And we have a kind of a demo we want to go through. So if you guys have your smartphones ready, we'll do a demo and really show you how to get that grade A lead in that conversation, meaningful conversation, buyer or seller on the phone with you. So yeah, Rick, we unfortunately we weren't at the AMS was not at the San Fran 2-day conference. We usually attend the larger ones, the 3-day ones, and one in Anaheim, and I know you were there. Why don't you kind of just go over how everything went there? I know Craig did a 1-hour presentation on hotlines, and he went into the trenches a little bit of how the hotline works and the 2 different types of hotlines. And today we're just kind of go a little more deeper and show you all kinds of cool stuff, scripts, sample ads, and really get some grade A leads in your funnel.
Okay, so for those on the call today who were in San Francisco, Mike's correct. You didn't get a chance to hook up with Mike or his team. In fact, you didn't meet with any vendors in San Francisco. That was a new member-only super conference. Now it's a 3-day super conference, and our next one is in Anaheim, April 8th to the 10th, oh, pardon me, 10th to the 12th. You will meet all of the vendors that Craig has worked with over the years, but the event we did in San Francisco was strictly an education event with the Quantum Leap system. However, as Mike has alluded to, we did reference many of the technologies that we've worked with over the years. And of course, Mike, we know your relationship with Craig goes back 20 years. You've been one of the prime vendors with the CP organization for many years, and that's using the hotline technology. And you may recall that Craig started off that session by asking everybody, how many of you have either used or are using a hotline? And many of you put your hands up. And then Craig said, how many of you have tried a hotline and have failed with it? And a number of hands went up. And Craig simply said, well, look, here's the reason why. You didn't have access to the scripting. Now, that's where we want to take you today. We want to show you the difference between the typical run-of-the-mill hotline piece of technology that's out there and the technology that Mike and Craig have worked on together to perfect. If you're looking for a turnkey solution that works perfectly hand in hand with the marketing that Craig is teaching you, then this is the webinar to be on, because Automated Marketing Solutions has the Craig Proctor pre-recorded library. And today we want to teach you a little bit about how to use a hotline, how to use the library, and how to create leads using this piece of technology. And really what it's going to do is help you nurture those leads to the point of getting on the phone with them and creating that face-to-face appointment. So we're going to show you how to do that today. So now, Amy, if you can flip the control of the webinar over to me. We've put together a little PowerPoint to sort of help everybody get a feel for how this is going to come together. And I think it'll make sense when you see some of the marketing that we've done over the years and how we've incorporated this technology into our lead generation. Perfect. All right. Now hopefully everybody can see my screen. So let's talk about this, Mike. So you and Craig have worked together for how many years?
Oh, about over 20 years. Well, 1997, I believe we started.
And it's an interesting story how you and Craig met. It's a typical story because, as we all know, Craig is a great lead generator. And tell us, Mike, how you and Craig, came together through Craig's lead generation.
Well, I was trying to sell my house in his hometown of Newmarket, and I tried different realtors with no success. And one day I saw a few of his signs. Guarantee me my home sells within a certain amount of time, or he'll buy it for cash. I thought it was pretty unique, and there was really non-threatening and a good deal. So basically, I called on Craig, and the rest was history. I actually contacted his dad. His dad came over to talk to me about the listing, and within I believe 27 days, Craig sold my home.
Right.
And while we were going through that process, I had to always had the technology for hotlines, and Craig at that time was just starting his marketing system. He proven it himself in his own business in Newmarket, and at that point he was just getting everything together, all his marketing content, scripts, ads, and from there we just it came about where we both worked and customize a solution for real estate agents all over North America. And I guess the timing was perfect, Craig sold my house, and we both worked the opportunity together.
I think in light of what Craig was doing, it made sense for the two of you to come together. For those of you who don't know, Craig had this belief that if he could provide a recorded message to a prospect without the prospect having to speak to the realtor, and you heard him talk about this at the Super Conference, that he could generate more leads. And there's some pictures in Craig's archive of how he started to do this. Craig literally had 50 or 70 phone lines brought into his office, 50 or 70, and at the end of each phone line, he had an answering machine. Yeah. He had shelves and shelves of answering machines that were doing this job for him. And Mike, you were in the business at the time, and you showed Craig how he could eliminate all those answering machines and, using technology correctly, create this really advanced solution. And the two of you forged ahead, and we've been working with that solution ever since.
And then, Craig, Rick, it's not just the technology. We customize it, but it's all the great marketing scripts and content that Craig proved and created. And we preloaded all that information in the hotline. We customized the way it worked to generate and pre-qualified leads. Sort pre-qualified leads, and here we are today. And we're always making changes and adding new questions, new features to it. So, so why don't we get into some of the questions, Rick? And why does every agent need a hotline, and what are the benefits to the prospects and to the agent using the hotline?
Well, at the end of the day, there's a number. There's a number of benefits that we as agents can really take advantage of if we decide to work with this technology. But the big benefit that we always talk about first and foremost is a lifestyle benefit. For those of you who are spending your career literally with your cell phone strapped to your ear, taking the call every time that phone rings, taking calls at dinner, taking calls out on dates with your spouse, taking calls at special events with your family, making the decision to work with a hotline can release you from that phone prison, as I call it. I call this the freedom machine, because when every other agent is out there desperately hoping the phone will ring, you can be out having a normal life. You can be going to your kids' games. You can take your spouse out on a date and out for a nice dinner. And your hotline technology, if you've got it incorporated correctly into your system, can take and receive and nurture and answer all these calls that come in through your lead generation machine. And the good news, Mike, is we've created it so that it answers and deals with the prospect the same way that you would if you were taking the call live. And so what happens is, as the phone rings and it gathers in the messages and it creates this nurturing concept for your prospects, you come to work on Monday morning or Tuesday morning after a nice long weekend, you log into your system, you have a look at your AMS messages, and there's all the calls that came in, there's all the messages from people that need something, and here you are, ready to go to work. You've had a great weekend, your lifestyle is freer, and that's one of the great things that the Automated Marketing Solutions system can provide in terms of lifestyle benefit. In terms of work benefit, just think about that for a minute. Think if you have a system that will answer the calls, say the right thing, do the right thing every time the phone rings. How many of you would agree that that systemized approach is a great way to create a predictable outcome? Well, I remember, Mike, when I first met you through a super conference years ago, 2001 or something, I was completely intrigued by this system because I had been taught, like so many other agents in North America, that I better be prepared to take a call at any time of the day or night. And when I started to work with the system, Mike, that you and Craig designed, and do it the way you guys taught me to do it, I was free. And I've never looked back from that ever since. And as most of you know, I've had great success as a real estate agent with the Quantum Leap system and using this particular piece of technology. So I'm a big believer that if we'd like to get our life back, if we'd like to have a normal existence, then get this technology working for you. And the good news is there's not a lot that our agent partners have to do, Mike. I mean, you come to the table with a fully recorded, ready to go script library, and Craig's girl, Tammy, has recorded all of the scripts. So our members can use the same scripts that Craig used, the same scripts that I use, the same scripts that all of our most successful members use. All they have to do is flip them into the box and start getting the access to the hotline out there through their marketing. So every agent who's really serious about improving their lifestyle and growing their business and implementing the QL system the way it was designed should take advantage of the hotline system.
What about the benefits of the prospects, Rick?
Well, that can't be overlooked. Look, what do we know? We know that as real estate agents, we're not really, and don't send me emails later, guys. I'm not saying anything that's not true here, but we know that we're not the most popular breed in town. Okay, people will talk to real estate agents as a last resort generally. If your name and phone number are on a for sale sign, generally prospects are somewhat reluctant to call you for information. But if you've got access to a pre-recorded property package about one of your listings and it's available to the prospect, you'll find that they will call that number before they'll call the number on your for sale sign. They will listen. They will take instruction on how to order the property package or the pictures or the list of properties or whatever it is you're asking for, and they'll do that 3 or 4 times before they will call you. So that's a huge benefit that prospects enjoy, and in the process turn themselves into leads. So that's really a crucial factor that we want you to add to your lead generation formula.
And we've already did some tests, Rick, and we've proven through a lot of calls and tests that not only is it easy and non-threatened for your prospects to get the information 24/7 and get it immediately, but we also proven that you're going to generate at least 3 times many calls on a toll-free 800 hotline as opposed to a local line,
right,
or calling an agent's cell phone.
Yeah, I agree. I've proven it. I've proven it, Mike. You've watched my numbers over the years. You know, I've worked with you extensively, and we've proven we can generate calls all day long into a pre-recorded hotline system versus generating calls into our cell phone. Now, I'm not speaking in absolutes here. I'm not saying we can't get calls to our cell phone or to our office number. Of course we can. If you present it correctly, boom, the phone rings. But when given the choice to call and listen to a pre-recorded message that, as Mike just said, is non-threatening for the prospect, statistics have proven that they'll call that number first, order up the information we make available, and turn themselves into a lead. And that's what this is about. This is about enhancing lead generation to the point where the best quality leads, the grade A type lead, prioritizes himself, sets himself up for the first call back. And you'll find that a hotline lead is a really great quality lead to work with.
Great. Well, let's move on to the next question. The two type of hotlines we have, Rick. We have the USP property tree line. With this hotline, where we get prospects that fly into the prospect's radar, and then we have the information line, which flies, under the radar of the prospects. And I know Craig explained a little bit, actually a lot, about the information line and the property tree and the different types of scripts and the purpose. They have two different kind of goals or reasons to have both. Why don't you start off by the information line? There you go.
Okay.
And just talk a little bit about.
So for those of you at the Super Conference, you may remember when we started to introduce you to our really effective but very basic lead generation direct response marketing, we helped you understand that if you simply offer the prospect what it is they're looking for, they will react, raise their hand, and say, we'll take it. Now, for print media, for classified ads, for display ads, for editorial ads, and nowadays for Craigslist, a great way to generate leads is to get that prospect interested because of the copy that's in the ad and to get them to call what we call our information line. So the information line is the less branded version of the hotline, and it's perfect for generating the lead. Let me show you how this works. So in your ad, and I just quickly went through a couple of formats, in your ad, you'll make an offer of, say, a report. The report might be the 11 inspection traps to avoid before listing your home for sale, or it might be what to do with your home in the event of a matrimonial divorce. Whatever your campaign is, to order the report, you simply tell the prospect to call the 1-800 number that's in the ad. We tell them exactly what to do, and that would be the information line. So the prospect picks up their phone, picks up their cell phone, picks up their smartphone, and makes the call, and they initially hear an introduction. And the introduction, also less branded, simply says, thank you for calling the information hotline. Please key in your 4-digit ID code now. Now that 4-digit ID code is what you put in the ad, and that 4-digit code is specific to that particular ad. So the prospect kicks it in, and then they hear a script. And the script is right out of that library that we talked about earlier, and that script tells them exactly what to do to get the report or the list of properties or the feature sheet, whatever we offered. It tells the prospect how to get it, okay? They leave a message, they hang up, and the lead has been generated, okay? That's the information line, and it is predominantly a less branded approach that works in conjunction with our less branded basic marketing. And it's really powerful for editorial ads. And I've said this 100 times. For those of you not running editorial ads right now in the winter, you're missing out on a lot of spring business, because editorial ads drive prospects early in the thinking process of buying or selling right into our pipeline. So everybody needs to run editorial ads right now and use the hotline instead of a domain name. Now, the other hotline that we talked about at the Super Conference is called the USP property tree. And that is a hotline format that's designed to be branded and work in conjunction with your USP messages. Okay, so there's a big difference. The information line is less branded and gets right to the point. The USP property tree allows the caller to branch through a few different scripts and a few different mailboxes, listen to a few different things, and understand that there's a few choices there. So Same thing. We run the ad, and it's about one of our listings. Okay? Let's say you've got a full page or a half page ad in your local Homes and Lands magazine, and you've got a half a dozen listings in your ad. Each one of your listings features reference to your 1-800 number and instructions to call for the free recorded message. The prospect sees a house and a price and a neighborhood they're interested in. They make the call and they hear the intro. Now, this intro in the USP property tree is recorded in your voice. Okay? The Rainmaker's voice records this intro. And by the way, we'll give you the script to read in conjunction with your introduction. And then, in that introduction, we tell the prospect they can go one of two ways. They can use the single-digit ID codes, which simply, each one of them simply plays a commercial that highlights a current USP. And I don't use all 9. I probably only use 1 or 2. And the commercial might say, for information on my guaranteed sale program, where I promise to buy your home in 120 days if it doesn't sell, please press 1. Or for information on my buyback guarantee, where if you buy a home and it turns out to be less than perfect, I promise I'll buy it back, please press button number 2. So they would press it, they would go off and hear that message and be told how to order the report on that USP promise. Now, the flip side, the other choice they have is to, as it shows here on the screen, kick in that 4-digit ID code that corresponds with the property in your ad. So you've got an ad running. It offers an information package on a listing over on Maple Avenue. It's listed at $249,900. The prospect is looking over in that school district. They key in the 4-digit ID code, and guess what they hear? They hear a property script. And in that property script, we tell them a little bit about the property. We tell them how to order a fully loaded full-color feature sheet, and we ask the prospect to let us know if they want report number 1 or report number 2. And that's always based on their moving time frame. And they tell us, they speak into the phone, they leave a message, they indicate their moving time, and the lead is generated. And the system is designed to hold on to that message and create lead after lead after lead after lead. So for those of you who are not doing this, okay, I'm just simply going to say it, you're missing out on a whole bunch of calls every single day. The general public, the buying and selling public, is more than happy to call and listen to a pre-recorded message. And the reason? Most prospects would rather be anonymous at the beginning of their process. So don't fight it. Don't argue. Don't think that we have to be the gatekeeper. If we put this system in place, we generate calls into our recorded messages, and subsequent to that, leads are generated. And it's not unusual if you've got a good advertising campaign to generate 40, 50, 60 calls a week with messages into your hotline system. And those, by the way, are good quality people who you can follow up with using the universal callback script and now be in that position that Craig talks about of having slightly more business than you can handle so the growth can begin in your business. So that's the format of the 2 hotlines. I hope I said that clearly, Mike.
You did a very good job, Rick. Just to add in, there you go, the dial zero features. A couple of features that are very important to the tree line is that dial zero feature, which allows the prospect at their choice to dial that number and go directly to a programmed number. That can either be your office, your cell phone.
Right.
And we're going to show you later in the call really how to get that grade A meaningful conversation Rick talked about earlier on the phone using this technology and Mobile Connect. But the dial zero features, dial zero at any point to any of these scripts, USP or property, get you connected directly to the prospect. And also, if a message is left, we would notify you instantly of the lead either by email or text to your phone.
Yeah, the system's very interactive. I don't want you guys to think that we are insulating ourselves from the lead gen. We're not, like Mike just said. There's an opportunity in your message even for you to say to a prospect, if you need to speak to me right now to find out maybe the current price of this property or to book a personal viewing, press 0 to be connected to our office, and we'll get that set up for you right now. The prospect hits 0, and boom, your cell phone can ring if that number is programmed into Mike's system. So immediately from the hotline, you can be on the phone with the prospect. And as I said before, this is still my favorite lead. The hotline lead still represents to me the best quality lead that I can generate with my marketing. Yeah, I'm going to say it may not generate as many leads as I can generate online, but my percentage of high quality, easy to talk to people is very high when we use this system. And it captures everything. It captures when they call, the number they called from. If it's possible, it'll capture the number they called from, all those different things. So it's pretty comprehensive. Plus, with the Zero Mic, this prospect can be having a chat with me in the blink of an eye, and I like that too.
Perfect. So just to summarize, both hotlines, Rick, are really designed to accomplish the same thing, to get the prospect to leave a trail and really to help qualify the lead, which gets us into the next topic about scripting, Rick. Yep. All these tested, proven scripts that Craig has generated over the years that are preloaded in both hotlines.
Yep.
And he's tested for tonality, length of message,
yep.
Female, male voice, all that. I know you're you're the master conversion when it comes to scripting, Rick. Why don't you discuss how you use the scripting today, sure, both on the information line and the property tree?
Okay, so here's an example of a couple of ads, a couple of basic display or classified ads, and you'll notice that my job here with this ad is to, make it sound like what we have is really good, but really, what I want the prospect to do is call my 1-800 number. That's my goal here. So regardless of the ad, whether it be display, classified, editorial, Craigslist ad, whatever, I really want the call. I really, really want the call. And when they call in, or they see my marketing and they call in, they listen to a very, very compelling script. And the script's job is to really create a wanting or an understanding that what they want is just right there. All the prospect has to do is ask for it. So I'm just going through some examples here of what we've done over the years to draw people in to that 1-800 number. And all of my marketing has always featured my 1-800 number. And Mike's sitting there smiling because he knows how many calls I've generated over the years from people who just want more information. And I'm very pleased to say I would much rather have a prospect call my hotline. If they're not quite ready to go, just call the hotline, set yourself up in priority, and get the information. Because when they call in and listen to the script that's been pre-recorded, that's what we tell them to do, and we tell them how to do it. So all this has been designed to simply create a lead from the prospect. So here's the script library. Here's all the scripts that you get as a coaching member to use in conjunction with your hotline. And all you have to do is go into the hotline back end. I think, Mike, we call it the LMS, the Lead Management System or software. You go in there, you choose a 4-digit code, and your system comes with 1,000 empty mailboxes, and you flip in the script into that mailbox to use in conjunction with the marketing campaign. And here they are. Here's the library of scripts right here. And there is a script in Mike's library to go with any editorial ad or any classified ad that you found in the Craig Proctor library. And as well, your coach probably has a handful of scripts that he's used over the years as well that you can use in conjunction with your lead generation. The script just needs to be compelling enough to draw the listener in and get them to leave the forwarding information. Where do we send the report? Where do we send the feature sheet on the listing? Where should I send this list of foreclosures that you've asked for through the ad that you saw running on Craigslist or in the newspaper? That's the purpose of the script. The script's job is to create the request for what we're offering. That's its job. Sorry, Mike.
No problem. So we offer for each hotline, Rick, 1,000 mailbox, and the reason we do that is so you can track the effectiveness of each publication of different ads. You can actually test and measure, which we'll talk about tracking in a second. Every ad and every publication that you are advertising for both hotlines. Now, do you want to listen to a script, Rick? I believe Julie has a record and we'll listen to the renter script just to give a sample what it sounds like?
We can try. I'm not sure how well it'll work here.
Okay.
But we can,
Julie, you there?
Flip it back over to you, Julie, and we'll see if it'll work.
Yeah, just play half of the script, you know, the renter, or just play renter script, 1001.
Well,
and the
that's okay.
information.
Can you guys both hear me now?
We can, yeah.
Everybody can hear you? Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and play that script.
Okay.
If you are like most renters, you feel trapped within the walls of a house or an apartment that does not feel like yours. You're always thinking about how you can get out of this rut and leap the hurdle into home ownership. If you'd like a copy of a free report which tells you how, simply leave your name and address after the tone. And remember to speak slowly and spell any uncommon names. To make sure that we send you the right information to help you in your situation, be sure to indicate which report you would like to receive. If you have a history of good credit or have greater than $3,000 down and a combined annual household income of greater than $30,000, please ask for report number 1. If you have a history of poor credit or have less than $3,000 down or have a combined annual household income of less than $30,000, please ask for report number 2. Thank you for calling, and please wait for the tone.
Great.
Now, Mike, we know what some of our members, our new members, are thinking right now. What's the difference between the two reports? The answer is absolutely nothing. Same report.
Right.
But let me ask you this. If report number 1 is for somebody with good credit, good job history, and a sizable down payment, and report 2 is going to someone with bad credit, a low-paying job, and no down payment, who do you want to call back first? Well, it's a no-brainer. I want to call back the people who've requested report number 1. So that's an ingenious way to sift and sort through our leads the way Box 2 in the Quantum Leap system teaches us how to do it. And so that's Tammy's voice, and all of the scripts in the library are recorded in Tammy's voice. And all you have to do, like Mike said, is go into your back end, assign the specific ad a 4-digit code, open that code, flip that script into the mailbox, and you can now track how effective that marketing campaign will be using your hotline. And like Mike said, 1,000 mailboxes. That lets you run the same ad in 3 different places and use 3 different ID codes to see which one of those media channels is the most effective for lead gen. So everything here has been put in place for you to work with, everything. And it's just something we want you to just dive in and work with. It works as well as we're saying, but you just have to get it out there. Nobody can Google to find your hotline. I can't Google your hotline. I can't poke around and just dial numbers in the phone and eventually come up with your hotline. It doesn't work that way. The computer works that way, but the phone doesn't work that way. So you've got to be deliberate in how you get people on your hotline. You run the ad. You give them a very tantalizing offer. You give them something very, very valuable. You tell them how to get it. You make your 1-800 number big and bold along with the 4-digit code, and you tell the prospect to call to order it. Free recorded message. And over and over and over again, you'll generate calls into your 1-800 number, and you'll also generate leads.
Great. And let's get into the reporting part of it now, Rick, which is a biggie for me. I mean, I've always been told by Dan Kennedy, if you cannot track and test your marketing, it's a complete waste of time and money. And we've created reports, really, summary, detailed reports of every call that comes into your hotlines, whether they left a message or not. And the reason we do that is really so you can determine the effectiveness of your advertising. Right. In some cases, maybe something in your script, your property script that you said that they didn't like and hung up. And I know, Rick, you use these reports every day. You wake up, a cup of coffee, and really track and measure which one's winning, which one's losing. And we have a portal or where you can go to a website called trackmyqlleads.com. Julie, if you can put that in the chat box, that domain, trackmyqlleads.com.
Yeah.
You put in your user ID and password, which we provide for you in your account, and you can go in there and look at all these reports. There's summaries, there's details, there's caller line IDs. I mean, you'll see multiple calls coming in from the same prospect, so you know that would be a hot lead, or like Craig will say, a stalker, one or the other. these leads have been tested, tracked, tweaked, Craig and I, over the years, and they're something that definitely is a big part of the program. I know, Rick, you use this report to your benefit as well.
Yeah, there's numerous reports available through the control panel of your hotline, of both your hotlines. Numerous reports. But here's the good news. All you have to do is go in there, look up your number, and look up the ID code to see how well that ad is performing. Okay? That's one thing you can do. The next thing you can do, which is what's on the screen here, is what we call the summary report. Now, this was my favorite one because this showed me the activity on my hotline on a given day or during a given week or over the course of a given month. And we looked at all of them. One of the things we always did in my organization was we did a month-end report. And one of the key contributors to our month-end report was how successful our hotline was at generating leads this month. So in my office, we would pull off all the subsequent reports that showed me all of the activity on my 2 or 3 hotline numbers that I was using. And like Mike said, it shows you every call, every script they listened to, how long they listened, when they hung up, the next script they listened to, absolutely everything is there. Now, I use this for all kinds of things. About every 3 months, I would go in and change my USP property tree introduction. And I'm the first to admit that some were better than others. You know, some introductions, we could see a consistent hang-up after 25 seconds. And I realized that I was rambling. And at the 25-second point, people were tired of listening to me ramble, and they'd move on. Other times, we'd have a really compelling script, and they'd listen to the whole thing, and then they'd click through and start pounding buttons and listening to scripts on our properties. You know, regardless, you can figure out your return on investment by simply working with the reports that are available here in the Automated Marketing Solutions backend, the control panel. So the benefit is you now know how much an ad costs. You know how well the ad that you've written has been accepted by the consumer, and how good you are at getting the consumer to call in and ask for more information. And I found that by simply offering, you know, 2 or 3, maybe 4 really brief emotional features on a listing and getting the prospect to call for more information, that we could generate a lot of leads that way just from people looking for a feature sheet on that property. And that was the offer that we made. So the reporting, Mike, is an absolute crucial part of the picture here. It lets our members see exactly how well their marketing and their lead generation is performing.
And again, Rick, when it comes back to script and report, which they really both tie in, you know, again, all the scripts for both hotlines are pre-recorded, done for you. The only ones that you really have to record are the property listings, which we're always changing for you. And if you're not comfortable in recording them yourself, then call us, and we'll be more than happy to record that script either in a male or female voice. And I guess that's how you actually figured out, Rick, which one was a jackpot by reporting.
Yeah. Over the years, I've had lots of people work on our team, and one of the criteria for joining our team was they had to read a script into the microphone, right, and we would test their voice, because if someone came to work on the team, Mike, that had a really good voice, they were conscripted into recording scripts. And we tried lots of people. We tried young voices, older voices. We tried female. We tried male. We paid attention to personality type, et cetera, et cetera. And we determined that the female voice with a good amount of D in their personality was the best script to work with. And I was really fortunate, because my wife, Carol, turned out my wife, Carol, became sort of our best script recorder over the years. And she's recorded hundreds, thousands of scripts, and she's even recorded a lot of scripts for many of our members too. So she had the perfect voice for generating leads, and that was probably part of the formula, Mike, that we created to be really good at generating leads with the hotline, was Carol's voice.
Great. So let's just review kind of what we just talked about, the whole lead flow, Rick. We talked about generating a lead through ads that Craig has provided for either branded or less branded advertising. We've captured that lead into the hotline. We sift it, sort it, pre-qualify that lead, and notify you by either email or text of that lead. so you can have immediate follow-up of the lead. And now what we're going to talk about is the actual conversion of that lead, getting that lead to a conversation, which is
Sure.
huge. I mean, the follow-up is the money's in the follow-up. We talked about it a lot, Rick.
Yeah.
So why don't you just go through what you do when a lead comes into your funnel, or a message, or a text?
Sure. Okay. So up to now, the art of generating leads is relatively easy. You've heard Craig say this, you've heard me say this, and James say this, that generating leads with the system really isn't that difficult, especially when you see what you can do with a hotline to make the prospect feel comfortable enough and in an unthreatening way provide them with the information they want. So the generating the lead part isn't that difficult, but once the lead is generated, the work really does kick in. So what we've been able to figure out is that once a lead is generated, we want to be able to talk to that prospect as soon as possible. And there's some information out there that we're fond of that proves this. This is just one of the illustrations, one of the graphs from the MIT lead study. And all of you on the call should have a copy of this from your coach. If not, send me an email, or send your coach an email, and we'll send you out a copy of the MIT lead study. But look at the numbers here. The odds of getting the lead on the phone, if you call them back within 5 minutes of the lead being generated, is 100 times better than if you let the lead age by 30 minutes. Look at that. But look what happens between 5 minutes and 10 minutes. So this is non-biased, third-party information that tells us immediately we want to get on the phone with that lead when it's generated. So everybody needs to get this. It's really, really important that we get that prospect on the phone and take them through this conversation with the universal callback script as soon as possible. And Mike and I, we have this terminology that we use. We call it getting into a meaningful conversation. And that's a really powerful term, because the most meaningful conversations happen when you've got a ready, willing, and able buyer or seller on the other end of the line who is willing to talk to you, answer the questions in the universal callback script, and sees the value in meeting with you in the next 24 hours. So if we can give you a system that enables you to generate the lead, nurture the lead immediately, let them get into a conversation with you, we think we've hit a home run when it comes to lead generation. And this system, Mike, that you've developed with Craig has been allowing me to do that since 2001. And all of our most successful members will tell you that this can happen. This whole procedure can happen in the blink of an eye if you just turn it on the way you and Craig have designed it. It's really simple. And you can be into those meaningful conversations very, very quickly using the universal callback script. And I encourage everybody on the call today who hasn't done so already to take advantage of the automated marketing solutions technology, get this incorporated into your business plan, and start working with this exactly the way Craig did it, exactly the way I've done it, exactly the way Todd Walters does it, our platinum coach in Atlanta, or Lester, any of our most successful guys. This is the program they use. And I encourage everybody on the call today that hasn't yet to take advantage and get started in your business.
So Rick, I mentioned at the beginning of the call that we were going to have a kind of a live and interactive demo, really showing them how they can use a hotline and now the new mobile enhanced feature to get that conversation, or at least have a second opportunity to get that lead offline back to online, to maybe a USP web page or other pages that you may have through Success or yourself. So why don't you just set up the scenario for the people on the call today?
This is pretty common. All right, let's say, for example, you've got your a listing out there in town. You've got a for sale sign up swinging in the wind on the lawn of your listing, and either on the for sale sign or beside the for sale sign, like I do, you've also got access to your hotline. Now, those people that are really, really hot to buy your house, looking for a house in the neighborhood, out looking at houses on Sunday afternoon, those people are pretty much willing to call to get information, so they do. But let's say they're a typical prospect, and by the way, 4 out of 5 prospects will call for the 800 number message first before they call your number, and so they do. They call your hotline. They listen to your introduction, and in this case, it's the USP property tree. They kick in that 4-digit code that's either on your sign or that you've told them to kick in, and they listen to the message, and maybe, just maybe, the message is good enough that if they press 0, they can be talking to you immediately to get the price, to get a couple of questions answered, or to book a personal showing. But what about that prospect that's just a little bit shy of dealing with a realtor at this part of the process? Well, let's say they don't leave a message. Let's say they don't press 0. They've just listened to the information you've provided. They've hung up and they've moved on. Okay? So we've created what we call in the hotline world a hang-up. They called, they listened, but they didn't leave a message. They just hung up and moved on. Well, the system at AMS allows us a second chance at that prospect, the hang-up. And let me show you how this works. Once they hang up, if they're using a smartphone, and it's a pretty safe bet that everybody these days is using a smartphone if they're not using the phone on their desk, something happens that gives you this second opportunity. As soon as they hang up, they get this on their phone. So here's the message that comes back via text to their phone. Get priority access to all the hot new listings that match your home buying criteria. Now look, there's a link in blue. All the prospect has to do is touch that link, and they're taken to the landing page that looks like this. Okay? Now, what Mike has done is he's built 4 specific landing pages for the buy side of the business and about 4 pages for the sell side of the business. And it's really awesome how this works. Now, let me paint another scenario for you. For those of you who still lament the fact that we can't use live links anymore on Craigslist, what you should be doing is inserting your hotline number in your Craigslist ad, and when somebody calls from a smartphone on your Craigslist ad and doesn't leave a message, look at this. The Craigslist ad sends them this screen. They click on it, and they end up on the landing page that corresponds with the Craigslist ad. Now, that's a little technical, I get it, but basically what we're saying here is we're back to taking a prospect from Craigslist and keeping them online. This is absolutely ingenious. Absolutely ingenious. Now, don't do this now because I want to keep you on the webinar, but put this number in your notes, okay? 888-471-4953, and then use this code 1013 when we're done today, and you'll see exactly how this works. It's absolutely ingenious. And again, everybody on the call today should certainly take advantage of this use of technology, especially if you like the online stuff. And I know most people, Mike, they love the computer stuff, they love the websites, they love getting traffic across the internet. And for those of you that are just upset that Craigslist has kind of been taken away from us, here's your chance to redeem yourself and start working with Craigslist and Backpage and WebCosmo and all these sites again, and driving traffic, the best traffic, right to a landing page to generate the lead. And here's the report that they fill out when they get to that mobile optimized landing page. It just asks them for the regular information. And in this case, this member is a member at Keller Williams. And you have full customization of this. You can tell Mike what to say in this. You can set it up. Maybe you want to send a USP. Maybe you want to send a secondary offer, whatever you want to do. But you and Mike and the folks at AMS can get this set up and customized solely for your business, and it's a really neat little feature. And here's the landing pages that are available. This isn't a website per se. It's just squeeze pages. There's 4 for the buy side, and there's 4 for the sell side. They come pre-built. They come with a pre-recorded video. Everything is done for you. There's nothing to re-record. There's nothing to build, nothing to do. All you have to do is flip these up so they work in conjunction with your hotline, a smartphone, and the advertising that you're doing, where people use the mobile platform to access your hotline number. And it's all designed to get the prospect coming back to you and getting the information they need, which in turn sets them up as the lead in your system. So it's fantastic, Mike, and as you know, Mike, I'm a big believer. I like the system. I've used it for years. I've made millions with the hotline system because it works as well as it does.
Great. Okay, Rick, before we get into, we're going to take some questions from the people on the call. For anyone that didn't really get a chance to take us on our special at the Anaheim or the San Fran conferences, and we weren't at the San Fran conference, so we're offering everyone on the call today our last chance offer. There's 3 ways actually to take action if you're interested. You can either go to the website you see on the screen there at automatedmarketingsolutions.com/last chance offer with a dash in between beside last and chance. That's automatedmarketingsolutions.com/last chance offer. Or you can call our number at 1-800-458-1899. Well, also, Julie, if you can put the link, download link into the chat section where you can either download we have a booklet that we always offer at the conference, which really goes through all the stuff that Rick and I talked about in this booklet, and there should be an enrollment form in there. You could look at that, you can fill it out and fax it in or scan it into if you would like. Rick, if you can just go to that link for me, please. I don't know if you can click that. If you can't click it, Julie, if you can put that link in the chat section. I just want to quickly go through the offer, and then we'll take some questions. If anyone that's going that link now, you'll come up to a page you'll see a picture of Craig Proctor. There's a link that says, yes, I want to take advantage of the Craig Proctor Super Conference Hotline. Just click that, and basically we have a 30-day free trial for all our hotline specials. Okay, there's no risk. For whatever reason you don't feel it's right for you or it doesn't work out, we'll give you all your money back. So option 1, Rick, is there any chance you could click on that link or go to that link?
I can try. Just give me a second.
Sure. If you go to the chat box, I think Julie's putting a link there that you can just click to make it easy for you. Anyways, option 1 basically is the information hotline we talked about with all of Craig's marketing scripts preloaded. We'll offer the free unlimited minutes, directory lookup, which we never talked about. You get the name and address of every prospect that comes in your hotline, whether they hang up or leave a message. You can automatically import it to your contact management system, and we have our own lead management system that we offer. Okay, so you can either pay for that monthly with a $197 setup fee or $49.95 per month, or if you want to save some money for the one hotline, we have a 6-month prepaid special for only $297, which saves you about $199.70. So that's a great deal. It's one payment, a hotline for 6 months, and you save $199.70 for the information hotline. Now, if you want both hotlines for option 3, the USP property tree with all the marketing scripts and the information line with the free minutes, the free reverse directory lookup. We also add in voice broadcast, which we never talked about on this call, and I know Craig did in his presentation in San Fran, and that's the service where we would send out a voice message to all your prospects and deliver them to the mailbox, which is used for newsletters and all kinds of other strategies. So we'll include 1,000 of those calls in there as well. And again, there's a monthly fee, one-time setup fee of $297 or a $97 per month charge, again, after 30 days. Or if you'd like to prepay for 6 months, it's only $497 one time for 2 numbers for 6 months and a savings of $382. So, if you got listings and all that, I highly recommend you go to option 4 for the $497. Okay, so again, what I'll also do, and it's not on this special, is I'll offer, if you don't have any landing pages or you want to try our landing pages, I'll provide one buyer and one seller mobile landing pages that Rick described. We'll give you one for each, one buyer, one seller, if you take us on the $497 deal. Okay, so if you go back to that screen, Rick, we can just show the 3 options again. We got you can either call in to our number, toll-free number, or you can link onto this domain and then just hit sign me up now for the option you want to choose, and it'll take your information and automatically we'll send out all, the Fast Start guide. We'll follow up with a phone call from one of our consultants to help you get going if you're stuck, and all your scripts will be done, and that'll all be done within minutes after you you sign up, and then
it's turnkey.
It's fully turnkey, fully automated, yeah. And then Rick and I are always conducting training calls. We have a combination of once you're on the system, you'll be invited to calls I've done with Craig and Rick and hot seat calls, all kinds of calls where we have members showing you how they make money with Hotline. So it's all pretty cool stuff and training. So you're really not left alone. We're here to help you make money with the hotlines. So Rick, if you can go back to that screen, please. There's the screen, and there you go. And Julie, do we have any questions from any of the people on the call today?
We sure do. Let's get in here.
By the way, before you get in there, sorry, Julie, before you get in there, anyone that's interested in our offer and they want a call back from us, just type in on the chat box now, say, yes, I'm interested, and I'll have one of our consultants, marketing consultants, call you, and we can go over your options. Okay? Go ahead, Julie, sorry.
Perfect, sounds good. So I had one question here from Sarah for Rick that she's asking basically, are you recommending that as a new Proctor student with limited money, do we start with classified ads driving to hotlines along with the unbranded and branded sites, and then as our business grows, start moving towards PPC and Facebook style advertising?
In a short answer, yes, Sarah. What we want to do is help you generate leads using the least expensive lead generators that we can. And traditionally, that's been from sort of the classified ad style, the display ad style. Now, let's face it, classified ads are not just found in a newspaper. They're found everywhere. Craigslist is a collection of classified ads. Google pay-per-click is a collection of classified ads. Facebook pay-per-click is a collection of display ads. All of these things are relatively inexpensive, or if they are a paid ad, you have full 100% control of the budget that you're willing to spend. So yeah, I try and get members going as quickly as we can, generating leads, using the least costly means available. And as you start to generate deals and put some money into your advertising budget, we can get you going with some more advanced lead generation techniques and some different things. You know, a full page in your Homes and Lands magazine is probably going to run you $500. That's a lot of money, and I don't recommend we start with that. We like to see you start with good, effective lead gen sources that are really inexpensive. So classifieds are a really good example as to how you can get rolling.
Perfect. Perfect. Thanks, Rick. And I've got another question. We've got a bunch here. Where do we get these special reports that we then send out to the people calling in? Where do we find those?
Okay, so for those of you who are coaching members, you log into the coaching website and you go to the ad generator. Okay, the ad generator lets you build an ad, and once the ad is built and finished, you also get access to the hotline script and the report if the campaign you're running offers a report. So they're right there in the coaching website. And if you're not a coaching member, you're an Inner Circle member, or you're a Quantum Leap, an online Quantum Leap member, it's the same thing. Access the resources you have access to, go to the ad generator, and where you create the ad, the reports are made available, along with the hotline script if you don't have it.
Perfect. Perfect answer. And I had another question here from Tom. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
Rick, do you want to...
If people hang up.
Sorry, I was going to just say...
Sorry,
Rick,
if people hang up, do we call them back?
Yes. got to be careful how I answer that question. So when I started working the Quantum Leap system, we immediately started to generate calls into our hotline, and not all of them left messages. One of the things I wanted to get really good at was growing my message left rate. But in the interim, we made a decision in my organization to call back absolutely everybody. Now, I have to say this, calling back a hotline hang-up is as close to cold calling as it gets. So, I don't want you to call those people back first. Call them back if there's nothing else to do. But you just need to change your introduction a little bit to the universal callback script, and mine was this. If I was calling you, Mike, and you were a hang-up, or I'm calling your number and you answered the phone, I'd say, hi, it's Rick Brash with the Real Estate Professionals. The reason I'm calling is earlier today or yesterday afternoon, somebody from your number accessed my real estate information pre-recorded library. I'm just calling to make sure that whoever that was got the information they were looking for. Was it you that called? And of course the prospect would answer yes or no. Sometimes they argue. A lot of times they'd say, yeah, it was me. We were just trying to get some information on one of those listings, but we listened to your script and it wasn't what we were looking for. And then I'd say, okay, great. I just wanted to make sure. By the way, are you thinking of buying a home in the next couple of months? And away I go with my use of the universal callback script. And I got really good at converting hang-ups into appointments. But I only called them when I had no one else to call. When I had called all of today's live leads and all of yesterday's and all the hang-ups on all the missed calls from yesterday, the last person I would call would be a hang-up. But it was also really great for practice with the universal callback script. A lot of people say, well, Rick, you're really smooth and you're really comfortable with Craig's universal callback script. Well, truth be known, I've made tens of thousands of calls and started off by calling hotline hang-ups, and that's why I got really comfortable with the universal callback script. Yeah, so my answer is yes. Yeah. Just don't let Craig hear me say that because I'll get in trouble.
Yeah, we've had a lot of members, Rick, over the years make a living off hang-up calls. Imagine what they can do with someone who left a trail.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Any more questions, Julie? We should take
Perfect.
one more.
One more? All right. I've got one more here. If I only have a few listings, do I really need a tree?
Well, if you want to highlight your listings,
can I stick with just the, yeah.
If you want to highlight your listings, the most effective way, my answer is yes. Highlighting listings with the information line, it doesn't do a really great job. I can tell you right now, it doesn't do a really great job. And the reason, guys, it wasn't designed for that. The information line was not designed for our listings. It's like saying, well, I've got a Porsche, but I want to put a Toyota engine in it. It may get you down the road, but it's not going to do a very good job. So use the tools what they were designed for. If you're carrying listings, you need a USP property tree. If you're just doing less branded, classified style, or report style marketing using editorials, you need the information line.
Rick, even if you don't have listings, I know Craig has mentioned it in the conference, that you know of listings. Could you put other people's listings on a property tree?
All day long. Look, for those of you that really want to get some ads going, a branded USB ad that features listings, you can borrow listings. That's what I did. I wanted to have, one of the things I wanted early in the program was my own personal full-page ad in the newspaper of listings. I was always envious of Craig's ad. Every week he'd send us out this week's ad when he was full-time in the business, and I loved it. I loved that full-page ad he had in the newspaper, and I wanted my own. So eventually, when I made the decision to do that, I had some listing inventory, nothing like what Craig, I didn't carry 100 listings. I never did. But when I started to do this, I had a half a page of listings, and I went and borrowed the others. I got some FSBOs, and I got some office listings, and I even got a couple of expired listings who said that if I could bring an offer in, they'd sell it to me. I got all those and finally built my first full-page ad. And yeah, you can certainly borrow listings and create a script, get your hotline in there, and start generating leads.
I mean, the whole goal is to get that call, is to get that conversation with.
Yeah, lead gen. That's what we want. We want lead gen. We just want lead generation.
Cool. All right. Well, I think we're a few minutes or 12 minutes past the hour, and we apologize for being late, and we had some technical problems. Rick, you want to just flip that screen back? Do you want to talk about the next, just quickly, super conference Craig is having in?
Yeah. So our next full-blown super conference where everybody's invited is Anaheim, 10th, 11th, and 12th of April. But we're also doing a 2-day event in Florida in March. So for those of you who are just now hearing about Craig Proctor and his lead generation methods, and you're intrigued by the use of technology the way we've talked about it today, Fort Lauderdale, March 7th and 8th is a decision you should make right now. And for everybody on the call today, if you've never been to a Craig Proctor Super Conference, this is something I highly advise you put in your 2015 business plan. Coming to an event changes lives, plain and simple. Mike, you and I have been to 30, 40-plus events. We've seen it numerous times. Realtors' lives change when they start to work with Craig's program. So we have lots of opportunity next year for you to attend one of our events. As I mentioned, Fort Lauderdale, March 7th and 8th. Anaheim, California, April 10th, 11th, and 12th. We'll be on the East Coast in the Washington, D.C. area, May 2 and 3. And then we'll be up in Toronto, in Mike, in your backyard, in August. And I would suggest we'll probably have another one or two in either October or November or maybe even both. But just put it in your business plan that you want to come and spend 2 or 3 days with Craig and his coaching team, because if your business needs some help, if we need to get your business really rolling, if it's a goal you have for 2015, I can't think of a better way than to come and work on your business for 3 days instead of in it. So that's what's on the near horizon.
That's great. Okay, well, hopefully everyone on the call saw some value in this training today. Rick, you did a great job once again in going through the lead generation and the follow-up of the hotlines and the 2 different types of lines. And I want to thank you for coming on the call and helping us out, and Julie for being a great moderator you are. And again, if you guys are interested in the trial, we have a lot of members already take advantage of it from the San Fran event and Anaheim. There it is on the screen there. Either call in, click the link, or download. Is it download our booklet, which should be on the chat box right now. You can download the booklet, and there should be a sign-up form there. You could either fax it or scan it and email it in to us, and we'll get you up and going. Again, it's a 30-day free trial. So, Rick, thank you very much once again, and I'm sure we'll be doing other training calls. Actually, I think this will be the last call for December, and I want to wish everyone a happy holidays and have a safe holidays and healthy holidays. And Julie, thank you for being the moderator, and we look all forward to seeing you guys in Anaheim.
Thanks, Mike. Talk to you all soon.
Bye for now.
Thanks.